All right, all right.
Hey there, everybody.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Terence and Jill.
Happy
Happy,
Tuesday.
happy Tuesday.
Let's see who's coming on tonight. Let me put a
Yes,
message in here. Say,
yes.
welcome.
Here we are.
Welcome to our live. We weren't on last week.
We got a pretty good topic for you today.
Yes.
But before we do that,
Yes.
just want to introduce ourselves to those of you that may be
New.
hearing this or hearing us for the first time. We are Terence and Jill.
Hey, hey.
We are very, very new. And I say new within, less than 2 years. We're married.
Mm-hmm.
And we got married after 50. So we spent a lot of time in God's waiting room.
We spent a lot of time
And
single.
so we have a lot of videos out there talking about how we got started, how everything came to be as it is now. So please, if this is your first time hearing anything from us, please go to our platform, go to the beginning, and just listen to the videos to see how we got started,
how we started dating, and how we met, and
go through the evolution of growing with us.
And what it was like for us to be single, and all of that. So I like to think that we maxed out on being single. We mastered being single. We mastered. I'd never been married. I had never been married, never had any children. And
so, and we're on here. We're just talking about our experiences. After the fact.
Looking back.
By looking back and saying, wow.
When we were single, things that God kept us. Like, seriously, like God really kept us. So just thinking about our experiences and giving our testimony, so we don't give marriage advice.
So we don't give relationship advice. That's not what this is about. So if you're looking for advice, I'm sorry.
This ain't us.
You might be disappointed if you stay here for the whole video.
Yes.
That ain't what we do.
That ain't what we don't do it because we ain't got that experience.
Yes.
Y'all, I just got out the shower. I know that might be TMI, but like I literally have on my pajama pants on the bottom. And
that's TMI.
That's TMI. Okay. But I'm just saying, because I look like I'm ready to go to bed, because I'm so sleepy. But we are we're here. Please subscribe. Please share our videos. Follow us on Instagram. We are Wordsmiths. I think we probably need to change that to God-Ordained Union. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. We're on TikTok more these days. Like,
TikTok is a trip.
TikTok is a trip.
It's off the chain. It's like the Wild West.
It's the Wild West. The Christians are fighting everybody.
It's the Wild West.
I mean, you could go from one, you scroll one time, somebody giving Bible scriptures. The next time, somebody reading your palm, reading tarot cards. The next time, somebody telling their story about how, they caught their boyfriend with another woman. It's just wow. It's wow. Then, of course, it's tons of people cooking. Everybody cooking something. I'm so sick of seeing chicken Alfredo. Like, but so we finally got on TikTok. And I promise you, we won't be on there dancing. Well, no, we are on there dancing. That was one second.
We are. Yeah.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
But we like it. It's fun. TikTok is very fun. So
yeah, you gotta take that with a grain of salt.
Yes.
Maybe 2 grains.
Yes, maybe 2 grains of salt. Yeah. Speaking of grain of salt, that's another thing. One of the main things I learned on TikTok was taking Celtic salt for magnesium. I don't want out and bought magnesium spray from TikTok. Celtic salt, just like TikTok is a trip. Like, they got me. So but so follow us over there, a God-Ordained Union.
Yes.
Terence is also on there giving the word of the day. He has a platform. What is it, Terence Smith?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just Terence.Smith 8, something like that.
Okay. So so that's what we be hanging out when we're not busy. We don't be on here all the time. But
true that.
But we do. That's
how doing that all the time.
Yeah.
Again, it's buck wild.
It's buck wild. TikTok is buck wild. So but it's a lot of fun. But
they ain't got no buffers,
no
nothing.
buffers.
It's just raw.
It's raw. Be like, I don't want my palm red. No, and I be hyper scrolling. Like, I don't even want to watch I'm like, I don't want to get it's witches on there. It's just the wild west. So yeah. So
but we're just glad to be able to come to you with a video tonight.
Yes. So we didn't come on last week. Like, seriously, September has been a month to remember. It's a lot of things happening. We got some great things coming up that we're going to share in the next couple of weeks. But we just learning to take our time when we can. So when we need to rest, we rest. So yeah.
So with that said,
yes,
what we're going to talk about today is one of our newest subscribers asked about a video specifically, and that's what we're going to cover today. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to own up to it before we even get started. I ain't never heard of this until today.
So read what what's the talk about the title.
What the title is cuffing season. The good and bad for us.
Like, we're going to share what the cuffing season was like for us when we were single.
Yes.
So before we get started, for those who don't know what the cuffing season, I think everybody probably knows except for my husband.
Yes, because I just don't get caught up on social media all the time, so I don't get into stuff like that. But it just, again, this is the first time I heard of it, so I actually Googled it, and I'm going to share with you what it says it is, okay?
Okay, what does it say, baby?
It says
season?
Cuffing season.
Hold up, because you're out the camera.
Oh, okay. Hold on, let me get back over here in the camera. It says cuffing season is typically defined as the time of year when single people actively search for short-term romantic partners, to spend the colder months with, typically from October through March, culminating with Valentine's Day. Wow. I did not even know that.
And I think we've all been privy or a part of cuffing season without knowing there's a term for it or knowing the exact definition, because we all,
if you've been in a relationship and this lasted for at least a year, half a year or so, there's a good chance that you went through
the cuffing season. Yeah. And there's a good chance that you would do.
So we're going to talk about, from our experience, the good and the bad.
The good and the bad. So
I'm actually excited because like I said, this is something that I didn't officially hear about until today. But after Googling it and reading what it said, and there's actually even an article out there, and I was like, wow,
a lot of articles.
They got a whole bunch of stuff about this.
Cuffing season. It's
definitely a real thing.
Yeah, people are very depressed around this time.
It said that in the article too. That's a big reason for depression during that time of the year. But we're gonna hit this some of the things that we find good about it, some things that we find bad about it. It's not a life or death thing of what we're making it, but we just want to share, what we like and what we think is not so good about it.
Yeah, I don't know what he has on his list, but I'm gonna give you. I think we both said we were gonna do 5 each. I'm gonna give you some real life experiences for mine. I don't know what my husband has, so this is gonna be interesting. Y'all ready for cuffing season? Y'all drop in the comments how y'all feel about cuffing season. What is it? They said from what? September?
From October
to March. Okay.
Yes. So basically, right after Valentine's Day, it's like, see ya, deuces, holla, I'm out, whatever.
Okay.
So what, you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. Well, here's one thing that I put on there that I like about cuffing season, and that is sharing. And what I mean by sharing is having someone to do things with. You know, like when you go out, when you're single, you're by yourself, you're not in a relationship, then you get to this time of the year where there's a lot of holidays, a lot of family gatherings, and you know, you just catch yourself out there by yourself a lot and you want some company. So when you finally get into that season and you got somebody, it's just good to have somebody to do that with.
Did you take that person around your family?
No. Here, that's a personal thing, but I'm gonna share that because that's actually on the list, but it's a bad thing.
Okay.
I think yeah, I got that as a bad thing. We'll talk about that later.
Okay. So my first thing, because it's the topic is cuffing season, the good and bad for us. My first experience with the cuffing season was a very bad experience, and it happened in my early 20s. I met this guy. We were in a group setting, a church setting. We went on a group trip, and I didn't know he liked me. And the way he pursued me, it was very intriguing. And we ended up, I think that trip happened in September. Yeah, September. We ended up dating. By Christmas, we were like full-fledged, like really getting to know each other. Again, I was in my early 20s. But by the time my birthday came, which is February 16th, right by Valentine's Day, I remember he bought me a little tiny, it looked like he ran into CVS and got a little tiny, it's like a little, it was like a little tiny bear in a glass box. And it was like probably, I don't know. He got me a little tiny heart, but it was almost like I was an afterthought. And by the time spring came, I remember we went on another trip. The group of us went on another trip in March. And when he and I were together on that trip, he was acting very different. But we were together. And when we came back from that trip, he was dating someone else. And it was my first heartbreak. And so from that experience, this season always had like, and even seasons after that, like the trend happened, like I would meet somebody, not even knowing what cuffing season was, that it was a temporary thing. I would meet someone, and by the time Valentine's Day come, it was like, okay, well, what happened? Okay. I never remember Valentine's Days with guys. We always have, before there was a Galentine's thing, me and my girlfriends always would get together for Valentine's Day. That's how bad it was. So my experience first, like that set the tone in my 20s about this season, like getting to know someone. So it was bad.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's bad. I'm gonna go beat him up. You know I will.
He a punk.
I'll hunt him down. Okay, so I said that was a good thing for me. So I'm gonna go to a bad, and it's because you just kind of brought it up just before you did yours, and that is avoiding a bad thing that I do is it's a good thing for me, but I think it could be considered bad, and that is I don't introduce people to my family until I know that I know that I know. So during that particular moment, that season or what have you, I just avoid taking that person with me to family events. So I just avoid them altogether. I don't take them to we used to have sister brother dinners like every other month. I stopped, taking anybody there. I mean, even to the point where when you and I met, remember, we didn't even allow anybody to know about our relationship until I had an opportunity to introduce you to my daughter. Mm-hmm. And that was we had been together for a minute by the time that happened. So yeah, I don't just put it out there because I know how family is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So okay. Yeah. So my second experience with cuffing season, because that breakup was set the tone in my 20s that I didn't have to buy into this season, not even knowing that it was a such thing as cuffing season. I got my first experience in church where they talked about this season as being very wicked. Like this whole season, I guess around Halloween. If you notice, there's a lot of blood drives around this time. So I automatically steered away from I was very cautious of any guy trying to get to know me or wanting to spend some time with me around this time. Like, not to say I'm super spiritual or spooky spiritual, but I really took I forget who said the sermon. I know it was my old pastor, but I forget why he preached this, but he was just like, around this time, be very cautious. A lot of Isaacs, now Isaacs, Ishmael's come, the saying, Ishmael comes before your Isaac. A lot of counterfeits. The counterfeit always comes before the blessing. And so the enemy tries to set you up, I was experiencing that in my 20s with all of the, the guys that I was dating. And so God just protected me. Even though I came out hurt, with all of them. But so I was very, very cautious around. I was very cautious when I was single around this time of year, because I knew that the enemy was on a prowl. And so I started fasting every October, whether it's 2 days, 3 days, or sometimes I would go the whole month of fasting for the whole month of October. And the last time I did that big fast is when I had that dream about, and I have it recorded. I have it in my phone of right before I met you, I had a dream about this guy, and it was you in the dream. But yeah, so that's I can't even say that's a bad experience. It's a wisdom experience that I have around cuffing season. So I'm not giving no advice to y'all, but be careful around this season, because our flesh is on a high, and we want companionship, and we want all of the feels and all of the things that is such a facade, that
what the flesh wants,
and it's clearly temporary. And I'm not saying all relationships are like that, but you can get, I think you can get into a space of being fooled by what the flesh wants, and then by the time spring comes, you might be the one to say, well, I don't even look at him the same way. So I got wisened up. So I have to say that's a good and a bad thing, that particular experience for me.
Okay. I'm gonna share something that I think is good.
What?
And that is what I like about that would be long phone calls, long conversations, being able to, know that, you get off work, you got somebody, you're going to talk to. And with us, that lasted for hours when we first met, and there were times where, it would be 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I look up at the time, and we still on telephone.
Mm-hmm. That's without dating. Yeah, that's a whole nother. Yeah, that part of cuffing season is a whole nother. Woo. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that one last.
Yeah, I fell in love with you on the telephone.
Yeah. That cuffing season was the bomb.
Yeah, watch her, boy. She powerful words.
So that was it. So, but even before me, did you have those types of experiences with women?
Well, I've always been able to, because I got a lot of sisters in my family.
Right.
So, yeah, just sitting around talking, I can do that. Yeah.
But I'm saying, as far as cuffing season, like having someone, like, did you get into the? Well, no, you didn't, because
I didn't even know about cuffing season until today, so that it was a thing. So I'm trying to remember, back in the day, but that's definitely something that I liked about, and especially during that. And I could have went another way, because this from personal experience. Like, I love binge watching, like Hallmark movies, and
But would you share that with somebody?
No, she had to be special.
Okay.
There's some things I don't share with just anybody.
Yeah.
Now I got to keep my Hallmark movies to myself until I find the right person.
Yes. Well, I know a bad experience that I had Actually, it was right. It was kind of before you came. It was maybe a year or two before you came. I think it was hard. It was Hurricane Florence. It was in September, and I wanted somebody like, and it wasn't because I wanted them for cuffing season, but maybe it was because I wanted them because I knew the season was coming up. But I remember, and we did a video about this before, but it was Hurricane Florence, and I was living in Raleigh, and I remember I cried out on my living room floor, and I got on my face and I prayed. I said, Lord, I've never prayed for a husband, but I'm ready for a husband. Like, whatever it is that's blocking me, please unblock it so that, that I can experience, like, I want to be able to, because I was in this hurricane by myself. I was down here in North Carolina by myself, and I was about to go. They was, move all the furniture off the balcony and do this and do this and I just felt like I not so much I needed somebody, but I wanted, at that point, I really wanted companionship. And I cried out to God, and I just made my petition known. And that was the beginning of cuffing season, when I started probably to feel like I'm about to go on the holidays and I want somebody. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool though. Because I'm gonna share my last one last, but something I think could be bad is rushing. I think you can get caught up with the person that you're with during this time of the year because your body is seeking and you're yearning for that companionship. And I think sometimes we give ourselves false expectations, which causes us to want to rush that relationship and try to move it forward to that next level to kind of give you some security of knowing that it's going to be there, when that season is over. And
yeah, because I don't think people go into cuffing season saying it's going to be temporary.
I don't think
I think they go into it with the the hopes that I think during this season we're fooled by the season. We're fooled by the season.
So I think it can give you false expectations,
false hope.
And, and so and you end up contributing to misleading yourself.
Yeah, because you, like I said, you could be the one, in February, March, be like, well, I don't really like him like that. Like, or I mean, I don't know too many women who say, well, we're going to go into this, it's going to be temporary. We just going to be together for, like, I couldn't do it. Like I don't want to share my space. I don't want to expose like, nobody could even come in my house. Like, if I ain't feeling you like that, no.
See, that's why I think women have to be cautious about guys.
Okay.
Because see, men will tell themselves, well, I'm not ready for a serious relationship.
And they could even tell the woman.
Somebody to kick it with. And men are good about saying, oh, I just want to kick it.
And they could tell you or not tell you. But a lot of times the men tell you, I just want to get to know you. I just want to, basically, I'm just kicking it.
And the problem is, if you accept that, he'll be in that kicking mode for the next 10 years if you let him. As long as it's benefiting him.
And then you every season, whether it's spring and summer, fall, you're still
you got hope thinking that next season is going to bring a ring, or depending on how long you've been together,
right?
And even when your girlfriends be like, girl, you need to cut him loose, it's like, girl, I'm gonna give him one more year. If you don't give me that ring, one more year turn into 5 and then 7 and then 10, and now you mad because you done gave this guy a whole decade and he's still kicking it.
Yeah. And that it's very this part. Somebody said, I've heard years ago, if a guy starts dating you in the springtime, it's and y'all last through the summer, 9 times out of 10 it's gonna work.
See, Okay.
That's what they said. That's what they said.
Because of this season. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
I think my other part, the why, my bad part of well, I ain't gonna say my bad part, my good, because I, started off this season early in my life with bad experiences with men, and then hearing wisdom, like be careful around this season, because, and then, oh my God, one time we got the whole teaching on the 8 portals of your body. I mean, my pastor used to scare the heck out of us. Like, you ain't got to worry about, he used to say, be careful of men whispering in your ear. I mean, all kind of stuff. Like, so, because I had my heart guarded around this time, like, I started to really focus more on, like this season really was about me. I actually embraced this season like alone, other than that one time when I had that experience during Hurricane Florence. But even when I was in Maryland, like, I get caught up into the pumpkin smells, going to shopping, the whole smell of the season, the whole feel of the season. So I have no problem shopping, or I love, like, getting me some good dinner, coming home, wrapping up in the blanket in my bed, just me watching movies, talking on the phone. Just like, I got really involved in that. Like, I didn't get involved in, like, I never got like, oh my God, I gotta have somebody. I've got to have some, like, I just, like, it's the holidays. Because I'm gonna tell you another thing I don't think you said, because one of the other things I didn't want anybody around the holidays is because the holidays was the time when we're always around our family. And I didn't want nobody ask me questions, or well, is he the one, or why isn't he the one? Or, so I never brought anybody around. I really never had anybody around the holidays. So I really literally start just embracing me by default. Like, I just started just being a loner just by default, and especially being here in North Carolina alone. Like, it was just me, myself, and I. And I started to, yeah.
No, you ain't got to worry about that anymore.
So you got another one?
I do. And actually, I think this is probably the most important one for me for this season. And that is, it actually could serve as a confirmation. For me, it served as, it told me I don't like temporary relationships. I don't go out looking for short-term relationships. Mm-hmm. To me, it taught me that, yeah, whenever I was looking for a relationship or wanting to be in a relationship, to me it had to be long-term. I didn't do anything. Yeah, I didn't go out seeking for one-night stands or meeting somebody and saying it's just for a season. I had to think in my mind that this could be the one, or I didn't get involved at all. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that if anything that I could say would have come out of that season as a positive for me is it helped me confirm that I wasn't one of those dudes that wanted something temporary.
So there are guys. Well, I know they are, but I just want to ask again. There are men out there who, if they try to get to know you around this season, it's a possibility that it could be long term.
Oh yeah. I would just say this. When we first met, what did I tell you? I was looking for somebody that I want to see tomorrow. That wanted to spend some time with me tomorrow. Because so many times, even if we are seriously wanting to be in a long-term relationship, what you can't do is shoot somebody with the fire hose the first day you meet them, and then expect them to say, "Oh my God, I found my wife," and you only known them for an hour. You know what I mean? So to me, I just knew within a process, in order for us to get to that point, it had to be like Well, do you want to see me tomorrow?
Yeah.
Can I call you tomorrow? Mm-hmm. Great. I wasn't thinking about 2 months down the road. I was thinking, well, if I can see her tomorrow, and then she want to see me tomorrow after that, eventually we'll get to the month. Okay. And so on and so on. But I didn't want to throw that out there in the first and meet you and say, hey, how you doing? Girl, I'm looking for my wife. Oh my God, I found her.
So, but I'm saying, so you let it be known that, up front, like, we want to just take this day by day.
Yeah, one day at a time. That way we can just enjoy, to me, that day without any expectations. Mm-hmm. And if we both at the end of that day said, you know what, I had fun today. Cool. Mm-hmm. Can I see you tomorrow? Yeah, great. Then we just try to have fun tomorrow. It wouldn't be a lot of pressure to say we got to do XYZ because you're going to be my wife. That's too much pressure on somebody you just met.
Right. Right. That's true. So I think the cuffing season part is.
It helped me eliminate wanting to date short term or looking for, like I said, just somebody to kick it with.
Right. What y'all think? Are y'all into cuffing season? Do y'all feel like, oh goodness, I'm about to go through this boring? I mean, not this boring. I'm about to go through this difficult season by myself, or what y'all think? So of course I got to share my good experience with cuffing season. My favorite cuffing season, that one. Well, I have to say that one. Well, I have to say that 1 year because it set the tone for all of these years to follow. But one experience was the best experience for me during cuffing season. Y'all noticed our story, of how we met and how it took a whole year for Terrence to reach out to me after I had initially reached out to him. So it took him like a whole year to respond to me. So it was October, and some friends of mine who they're ministers of the gospel, one of the husband called. And now again, I had put that initial phone call or that initial DM out to Terrence a year prior. Well, almost a year prior. So I hadn't heard from him anymore. And as far as I know, it was a wrap. He was a wrap. Even though I felt him in my spirit, he just was not a possibility to me in reality. Like, I'm just be clear. It just I couldn't spiritually, I could see it, but I couldn't see it physically. So anyway, I got the call from our my friend that he said he had a prophetic word for me, and I was super proud. Like, nobody knew about Terrence. Very few people knew about Terrence, this guy that I admired. And he told me, that friend told me, he said, your king is about to come. You're comfortable in your singleness. I know. Exactly. I agree. I totally agree, Jacqueline. The guy told me, he said, the Lord said that your king is about to come. And in my spirit, I knew what he was saying. I knew he was talking about Terrence. And he was like, he's coming. And he said he's coming and he's going to have a lot of money. He's going to be wealthy. And he said, and I was like, it was October. So I was probably fasting during that time, but I know the Lord speaks to me around this time of the year. And so I was like, okay, I received it. And so that November, I was at work and I was sitting at my desk, and it was a rainy Tuesday, and I was about to leave to go home. And I just happened to check my Facebook, and there was a alert that somebody had DM'd me. Before I even opened up the message, I knew it was Terrence. I knew it. My spirit knew it was him. I knew it was him. So I went to the bathroom and I started praying. And I said, Lord, whatever this is, because again, Ishmael always comes before Isaac. It's that season for wickedness, and that's that season for counterfeits. Like, even though I feel in my spirit, I still don't, everybody's a suspect. Everybody is a suspect. So I came back to my desk and I opened up the message, and it was him. And he said, so this was like November, early November. So he said what he had to say. And it was, y'all know the story in the first, I think it was the first 2 or 3 videos we ever did. He, gave his message or whatever. And so, and it was like the conversation ended, but it was like, where do we go from here? So that was like on, matter of fact, I know the dates.
She do.
It was November 10th, because it was right. It was the day before Veterans Day. I hadn't heard from him for the next couple of days. So I looked back at the message, and the message kind of was, I had ended the message. It was like, okay, well, thank you so much for reaching out. But it was almost like the way the conversation was going, it was almost like he was in mid conversation, but I was leaving to go home from work. So I just ended the conversation. So a couple of days later, I went out on a whim and I DM'd him and I said, hey, I think I was like, I would like to get to know you or whatever, you reached out to me or whatever. And he didn't respond. Another couple of days went by, and I never forget, on Thanksgiving night, I was with my family. We was at my sister's house. We was at Tammy's house in Maryland. The whole family was there having Thanksgiving. And I just checked my phone. No, because you text me. Mm-hmm. And he had this long text, and he was like, I'm liking what I see. I saw you on social media. I'm liking what I see. He said, and I really want to get to know you too. He said, but I want to take it super slow. And I never get, I responded back. I said, slow is perfect. So that whole, from that November 10th to almost a year later, we just talked on the phone. Mm-hmm. And that was from that Thanksgiving. I'll never forget, from that Thanksgiving, even till like Valentine's Day, like the whole cuffing season, it was just, like you said, we would just talk on the phone. We would text back and forth. I mean, it was the best cuffing season because we didn't have to be, we're both homebodies and we're both loners. We didn't have to be in each other's space. We lived long distance from each other, but we can have those times where we can be on the phone, we can be cuffed up, but not attached. And it could be real slow. And that was like the best and the ideal. We got to know each other. We got to really, really know each other. And so I think we met each other that following summer. And then cuffing season came back up. Mm-hmm. Cuffing season. And like still guarded. We're going slow. We're going real slow. Still guarded. And I never forget, one of my girlfriends was like, because I had never been to his house. I had never come to Charlotte. And one of my girlfriends was like, aren't you concerned that you never, been to his house? Nope. Because I was used to being my cuffing season this time of year is for me. And I never forget, you were like, I want you to meet my daughter. Well, no, first you brought her up to Raleigh. You brought her up because Terence, little Terence, is in New Zealand. Y'all know that story. So he lives in New Zealand. So you brought her up, and this is all through cuffing season. And then that October, November, I came down here. It was my first time at your house, and talk about cuffing season. Like it took cuffing season to a whole nother level. Like, because at that point, because we had already been through the initial first season and all through the summer, because you know what they said, if you last with somebody through the summer, is a chance that, it's good. And so, but I was still taking this, I was good. I was still taking it slow, no expectations at all. I was just liking to get to know you. And we were having cuffing season. We came down, we would watch movies, Hallmark movies, and go out. We would go out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like we went to the hiking and just really bonding. And then he proposed, which threw me totally off guard because I had learned from my 20s that cuffing season was all about me. Like it was just, my heart was guarded. So threw me totally off guard. Totally off guard. And I never thought that I would have a spring wedding ever. I always thought I was going to have a wedding in the fall. And having a spring wedding brings a love. Ain't nothing like spring love, a spring fling. I'd rather have a spring fling than a cuffing season any day. But my cuffing season was top notch.
Well, let me tell you something not to do, though.
What not to do?
We had a conversation before I proposed to her, right? And we was talking about how men don't like the proposing because women will sit there and ask us 1,000 questions about the ring before they answer the question. And so she was like, oh, no, I won't do that. And guess what she did?
Well, because we were having a general conversation. Like I had never known that he was going to propose. God,
where did this come from? Where did you get this? How did you do? And I was like, would you answer the question?
Because he did.
Let me call my mother. And I was like, would you please answer the question?
Y'all, because the way he proposed, first of all, we was in cuffing season. I came down to Charlotte. We went to the mountains. We went to the top of the mountains, to the top of Morrow Mountain that day. Yeah. He had so many times opportunities to propose, but proposing wasn't on my mind. Let me just say a couple of weeks prior, because we were going through the pandemic and nothing was really open and we were trying to find things to do. And I never forget, he said, let's go to the jewelry store just to see. Let's just go, because it was one of the stores that was open. And because I always say, I want a cushion cut ring. I want a cushion cut diamond ring. I want a cushion cut. I don't want a halo around it. I want a cushion cut that's what I want. White gold. I want or platinum. I want a cushion cut ring. I always wanted a flat diamond. And so, we just, I promise you, I had no idea that this man was going to propose to me. And so, so we had every opportunity for him that day to propose, and we're cuffing, getting ready to watch a movie. We was watching Ron's house because I think I was doing something like I don't know what I was doing, but we had just come back from dinner and we were flipping through the channels and he had all these, he had all of my Christmas gifts wrapped sitting in a corner of his bedroom on the floor. And so we were watching, we were flipping through the channels and I had on my pajamas, because I had on my pajamas, we're going to watch some movies because I'm down here to visit. And he said, I got to get you down here permanently. And I'm not even really thinking. I said the first thing was off on the top of my mind. I said, okay, well, the ball was in your court, dude. And he said, okay, well, I'm glad you think so. And he went to the corner to his bed where my gift was wrapped. And hey, Mo, we were just talking about you today. And he went and he got the ring out the corner and unwrapped it. He unwrapped it. I didn't know what he was doing. And he unwrapped it. And he didn't get on his knee. And I was perfect. He did not get on his knee. We was on his bed. And he said, would you marry me? And I was like, what? Like, we still taking it slow. We still getting to know each other. Like, it took me completely off guard. It took me completely off guard. And yes, the first person I called was my mother. And everybody started screaming. Everybody, my sisters, everybody was calling. The word just start like rolling, flowing. So yeah, cuffing season. Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna give no advice. I'm gonna just say, be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah. So what do y'all think about cuffing season?
Mo, what you think about cuffing season? I know you got a word out there.
Yeah, what do y'all think about cuffing season?
Like, are y'all the ones, like, because I have some friends who, like over the years, like they didn't like this time of the year. They would get depressed and feeling some type of way, wanting to spend the holidays. The only thing I didn't like about the holidays being single was like my family asking, just listening, my family asking, well, when are you gonna get married, or when you're gonna have somebody, or yeah.
Well, you met my family.
Yes.
So when Vince and all of them are around, it's like, you by yourself?
Yes. You love this time of year, Mo?
So yeah.
Yeah, so that's how they were doing you?
Yeah, all the time. Dude, you come by yourself? Yeah. Wow. Why? Why not? What is it that I need to do? Man, you always come to these by yourself. I don't understand your point. So, but yeah, I got that for a long time.
And you know what I've learned once I got with you, I learned that there's so many good single men out there that really want someone. And they're very
there are guys out there that are laid back. Mm-hmm. And they feel like they've been overlooked because they're not that alpha male, And you got those guys that they aren't alpha males. They secure with who they are, but they're not that guy that when you see him in a crowd of people, he's going to be the one telling the jokes and stuff. It's the one that's sitting over there quiet, almost like he's by himself. You might think at first glance, oh, he's antisocial. No, he just ain't comfortable being the center of attention. But he's probably the one guy that's going to treat you like the queen you want to be.
You.
But everybody is always in that guy that's flashy, that's driving that car, that's telling all the loud jokes, and he's sitting over there like.
So you think you don't think anything's wrong? Well, I guess you don't, but you don't think anything is wrong with the woman approaching the guy. I guess it's about the approach.
I think it's about the approach because I will say this. You have to be careful with approaching a guy because sometimes you can
be too aggressive.
Well, not necessarily too aggressive as much as it is coming across a certain way. Mm. So you don't want to come across in a way that says, I'm one of them, skanks or whatever. You want him knowing that you're a true person and you really sincerely, whatever that is. Because you don't know the conversation to his heart. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to be careful. Like with us, one of the things that really caught my attention about us is when you said that you had been praying for me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, whoa, time out. See, God knows that was going to register to me.
But that could be a catch line for women too, especially super spiritual women. I've been praying for you.
Yeah, but if you put God in it, see, God was in the midst of what I was trying to do all along. I wasn't out there saying I can find her. I was like, God, you find her, because the ones I found for myself ain't work out. So
Jacqueline, so that's the answer to your question. What about God being the matchmaker? This whole channel is about God matchmaking this.
Yeah, that's
this
what
whole
we did.
channel.
We gave it over. We released this. We give it to you.
Yes.
And if you don't want me with somebody, then I will be single. But I'm not going out here looking. Because here's the thing. In the Bible, he put Adam in a deep sleep. Adam didn't know he was missing a woman. Adam wasn't asking for a woman. God said Adam needs a helpmate. It's not good for him to be alone. Adam didn't ask for it. God said, let me put this boy to sleep. I don't need him to help be a nurse. I don't need him to help stitch up. I need him to be so completely out of my way, I can do my best work. And when he woke him up, he said, look what I got for you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he was like, thank you. Thank you, God.
Yes,
my man.
Yes. So going back really quick because to men that's I ain't gonna say not an alpha male, but like you said, men that are laid back and they are in the background. So I know me and Tammy always talk about this story. Me and my sister talk about this story of one time we were invited to a fight party. This was years ago. Yes, it is very intentional. Mo. So we was invited to a fight party. Yeah, we was probably in our early 30s or whatever. Maybe even earlier than that. But we went to a fight party, and the whole fight party, yes, I believe so too. I'm sorry, y'all. The whole fight party, it was it was so many men there, and it was a lot of Kappas and fraternity where neither one of us are like sorority, but we were invited to this party, and we went. It was a fight party, and it was men. When I say men galore, men, it was so many more men than women, and there was this one guy that was standing on the wall because it was packed out. He was standing on the wall across in the almost in the kitchen, and he had his rum punch or whatever jungle juice or whatever they drink, and he had that, and he was just very quiet, and he kept watching us. He kept staring at me and Tammy, and we would laugh, and we would be like, "What the heck? This guy keeps looking at us," and it was the funniest thing. So when we were about to leave. We were leaving out. We was making our way through the crowd. We was telling everybody because we knew the host. The host had invited us. So we were making it through the crowd, and we were leaving the house. And the guy that was, he didn't, when I say he said nothing the entire night, nothing. He just stood very respectful, but he just stood and watched us. When we were leaving, we were walking down the stairs out the door. It had to be 75 people at that house. He ran behind us and said, "I'm going to walk y'all to your car." He walked us to our car, and we exchanged numbers. Come to find out, he was a real estate agent. I was in real estate. Yeah, so I had to be in my early 30s. I was in real estate as well. And so he gave me his business card. I gave him my business card. And to this day, I'm going to shout him out. Lee Spurlock, let me tell y'all something. Don't underestimate the quiet guy. When I tell you, this man has such a beautiful marriage with his wife, 3 beautiful girls, like very successful guy, like very educated, like very, very, he became our good friend. He became my best friend's good friend. Like he's even to this day, like when I see him on social media, he up there, "Hey sis," and I say that to say there are really some good guys out there. Yeah. It's some really, and they might not be, you know what I mean? You might have to
stop convincing ourselves what they look like, what they driving, all of. If you give it to God, I'm telling you, and again, I'm not trying to tell people what to do, but this has been the one thing I've said from the very beginning, and that is when you make your list out of
maybe
what it is you're looking for. I know, baby, but you gotta let me finish because I'm going with it now. When you make your list out, if you decide to give it to God and let him be the matchmaker, he's going to give you what's on the list, but he's going to add another 20, 40, 50 things on that list that you don't think about right now because you don't need it until tomorrow. So you don't know what you don't know. That's why it's so important to give it to God and let him put you with the person he has for you. So 10 years from now, when you going through something, that person he put you with is prepared for it, or they're going to compliment you in a way that's going to get y'all through that because God had a hand in it.
Yeah. And the great thing I love about that is that now that we're going back to Genesis, when God gave Adam Eve what he needed Eve for, which Terence just did a video about this. Our last video on our timeline, he did a video when he gave Adam, when Adam had the purpose. Adam had the vision. Eve had the purpose. And she was purposed to be with him, to help him get the vision off the ground. Yeah. But the great thing I love about that story is that it wasn't something that Eve came into Adam already doing. Because God said, when I put y'all together, I'm going to do a new thing. Adam couldn't even get to doing a new thing, that new thing, until Eve came. And Absolutely. So, yeah, so it was, so a lot of people think, well, I'm just coming to be his helpmeet or his, to get him, but it's not. He doesn't even know how to even get to that new thing without you. He doesn't even know how to. So that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, so even this, talking like this, and I promise you, I knew that I wanted like this type of, so I didn't get caught up in cuffing season. I knew it was a possibility that I could be bamboozled, that the counterfeits were out during the season, that, thank God for those Bamas from my 20s that broke my heart, because I learned early on that, I knew what I wanted and what I didn't want. And so I went into my 30s with my heart guarded. I went in with my heart guarded, even all through Terrence, even though I felt it all through my spirit, I still went in with my heart guarded. Y'all know the story from past videos, had no expectations. I didn't put that burden on him, no expectations. So when we went from talking on the phone to dating, being in our version of cuffing season, to him asking me to marry him, it was like, what, dude? Like, we just friends. Like, how we go, So, yeah. So.
Yep. So, cuffing season.
You
can take it as a good thing
or a bad thing. But
it just depends on how you look at it and what you're doing. But like I said, what it did for me was give me confirmation that being in a short-term relationship wasn't for me. I wasn't looking for a one-night stand or just getting through a season or just trying to kick it. I wanted to be with somebody that I can build something with forever.
Yes, forever. Yeah. And I don't get so caught up in cuffing season that you miss out on maxing out on your single season, because it's your single season that will keep you from questioning in your marriage. What is my purpose? I want to do something everybody else is doing. I feel like I need to do that. No, because when you get in your marriage, you know that your purpose is.
You need to know who you are.
Yeah, you already need to know. Of course, you heard that tons and tons of times before, but don't get so caught up in cuffing season that you forget this beauty and this privilege and this gift of single season.
Yes.
So, but yeah.
Yes. So we hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it.
Please share. Thank you, Jennifer.
Please put it out there.
Thank you, Mo. Yes, thank y'all so much. We hope y'all got something out of it, and it's gonna be all right. Yeah, like my husband says this every day. I forgot what scripture it comes from. I tell my body what it needs to do. I tell my emotions what it needs to do. So if you go into this feeling like, okay, it's that time of season where, I'm going to feel alone. Well, you're going to feel alone, but you can tell yourself, like this season, I'm going out, I'm getting up, or I'm staying in. It's going to be all about me. They talking about shutting down the government again. It's like, turn that TV on and chill, rest.
Yep, it's just daily confirmation.
Yes.
I will not be controlled or mastered by anything. I don't ask my body how it feels or what it wants to do. I tell it how it feels and what it must do. Do y'all?
Yes. So that's I'm glad we was able to get on tonight.
Yes. This was a nice topic. Yes. Hopefully, like I said, you guys got something out of it.
Yes.
And if there's ever a topic that you'd like us to go into, just let us know.
Yes.
Because again, we're not trying to give anybody any advice. We're just going to take those topics and share with you what we've learned by looking backwards on where we come from
and even
and how we got to where we are today.
So. Yep. So email us terenceandjill@gmail.com.
Absolutely.
terenceandjill@gmail.com. That's what we should put it right here. terenceandjill@gmail.com.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So so that's it for the Smiths. I'm super tired. And I've already taken my shower and I'm about to jump in the bed.
So you guys have a very, very blessed in the rest of your day.
Yes, and we'll see you in October because next week is October. Welcome to the new season. It's a new fall is here. Be prayed up. It's a wicked time of the year. As I said, if you notice, a lot of people are doing blood drives. Be very careful around this time. Prayerful and careful around this time of year.
Yes.
Guard your hearts. Guard those, anoint those portals. Mm-hmm. Don't be fooled because there's some men out there just looking for some temporary vessel to cuff up with and keep him warm or her warm, and they be deuces, by spring. So be careful and prayerful, and if you want a long-term relationship, don't fall into the hype of cuffing season.
Hey, and pray for each other.
Yes,
pray for each other. The prayer of agreement is very strong.
It's very.
And until you get your God-ordained mate, ain't nothing wrong with y'all coming to agreement on the same topics and help each other get to where you're trying to get.
God said, "Well, two or three are gathered together in His name." He didn't say we're husband and wife are gathered together.
Absolutely.
So so that's it for the Smiths.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see y'all next Tuesday, God willing, and you all be blessed.
Yeah.
Deuces.